Welcome back to your new favorite Love is Blind recap. We're going to be talking about the show like you have been watching it. My name is Nicole Hernandez, and I have my good friend here, Danielle, also known as It's Your Girl D. What's up, Danielle?
Friend, how are you today?
I'm so good. How are you? How are
Good,
you?
good. I'm good.
Okay,
Yes,
good. I'm so excited to talk about what is this, episode 10 and 11? Or was this episode
yeah.
9 and 10?
10 and 11.
10 and 11. It's everybody's favorite, not everybody's favorite, but I would say the third favorite part of the show. The whole wedding dress, getting ready for the wedding. I can't talk. They're like a week away from getting married. And they've known each other for like 2 weeks now?
Yeah, because they do
I think,
the pods for a week,
yeah.
and then they do Cabo for a week, and then they live together for another week.
And then
So,
they get married.
yeah, and then they get married week 4.
Yeah, so definitely the episodes are starting to get hot. People are starting to really get focused in on, are they going to get married? Are they not going to get married? And we're just going to get right into it, okay?
Yeah.
First, first and foremost, Danielle, Nick and Annie. Did you see this coming? Like, did you see this happening? The show starts off with Nick and Annie at the table. They had just finished leaving the singles group event thing. And Nick and Annie are sitting there, and Annie's clearly drunk.
My little drunkie Annie. That poor thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about her, but she, it all makes sense. Netflix did her dirty when they captured the way she would laugh and her eyes, like Crazy Eyes Annie, basically,
Yes.
because she just looks a hot mess. And I feel like every serious conversation they had, she was a little lit.
And you know what? I didn't catch on at first. I was kind of multitasking. I was on my phone. And after the first scene, when they're talking, she sounded like she was in the pods. Remember in the pods, she kept telling the other guy, I just don't feel like you're doing enough. And she kept rambling. And I was like, wait, is Annie drunk? And then I'm like, wait, was she also drunk in the pods? Because she was talking to the other guy the same way. Brandon.
Because, I mean, it's all matching to like what she was in the pods. And for us, we don't, as viewers, like we've seen her in this, like in this space from day one.
Right.
Drunky Annie is like normal to us, and we're like, oh, that's just like, her quirkiness or whatever it may be. But lo and behold, there was alcohol in her cup the entire time.
Yeah, that wasn't just her regular personality. I don't know if it was her nerves, but Annie got to drinking. And so when it starts off and she's spilling her guts to Nick, like, I don't know if you really love me, I love you. And Nick was like, well, I cut out 5 hours of my work or whatever to be there for you. Like, how could you say I don't love you or whatever? The next day, Nick breaks up with her. Did you think that was gonna happen? Like he straight sat down with her and was like, after last night with you rambling, talking about I don't love you and you love me, like this is done. He was so cold. I didn't expect Nick to be so cold, but I feel like we should have known that from the pods.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't see him doing it like before getting to the altar. I thought that like he was just gonna see it through, go through the process, and then just be like, I don't.
Right.
Um, ink, whatever we don't see behind closed doors. Obviously, Annie's drinking, like her little passive aggressiveness, telling him how he feels
Yeah.
I think he was like, I just can't, for his own mental health, he was like, I can't stay in this space
At
with her.
all.
And I give him credit for doing that and cutting it right then and there, because I think that if he would have taken it to the altar, he would have kept feeding into Annie's delusion of this might work. Like, he's going to say, yes, get this far. He's going to, like, this is it. I won. And he would have really pushed her into a spiral
Yeah.
that would have been really ugly for her, I think, because we see her now and the emotions of the show and leading up to the altar, just like, you're drinking this now, like, imagine, because, and then it'd be like, to her, like, public humiliation.
Yeah.
And
So that was really nice of Nick.
yeah,
Like that was really nice of Nick because he could have really let her just get really crazy on the show. And I didn't
yeah,
expect that of Nick. I really thought Nick would have been the type of person to get her all the way to the altar.
yeah, because we were like, oh, he's not genuine, he's, this, he's that. But I think it just got to a point where he was like, I I just can't. I need to go home. I need to, like, I got to go back to the mountains. You stay here. I'm out, which, again, I don't fault him at all. I think it was the best decision for both of them. Who knows what more was going on behind the scenes, but I think he also was he just got to a point where he was just done with the situation. He knew, look, at the end of the day, it's not going to work. We're not going to be together. Why am I going to continue to expose myself to this toxic environment?
Right.
Because again, he told her multiple times, I don't like you putting words in my mouth. You're telling me how I feel. You're telling me I don't love you. I'm not doing this, yada, yada. And yet, in a way, she was like the love bomber in this
Right.
situation. Because from the pause and outside, it's like, how many times you got to say I love you in one conversation?
Yeah. And that's so funny because the whole cast felt like Nick was the love bomber. And then in real life, it comes out that Annie is the real love bomber. And
Yeah.
speaking of Nick and Annie and the love bombing and the drinking, Danielle, I know you found some tea online. The receipts have been receipting, and Danielle like sent me something. I was like, wait, what's going on? So Danielle can go more in depth about it, but I guess Annie has a history of drinking and and taking people's IDs or something. Can you fill us
And
in?
is just a hot mess, as,
Oh.
as she may seem. Our little Annie uh, is no stranger to the law.
Yeah.
Um,
The
and
law.
popped up, of course, gave us some insight into this is who she is.
Yeah.
He is a bit of a drinker. She's no stranger to excessively drinking. And I think it was 2020, baby girl got a DUI. She also got arrested and, well, the charges were dropped, but she did get arrested for stealing her ex-boyfriend's ID, running to AT&T and T, and trying to get information on records of phone numbers he's been calling and texting,
So
because
crazy.
baby girl is a grade 10 psycho.
Oh, Annie.
I know.
Annie.
Yeah, so he put that all out there, and again, now watching it all back, unfortunately, it all makes sense now. Her.
And the thing is, Netflix knew this. They look up all of that. They knew that she had this situation. So for all this to go the way it did, she should really be thanking Nick. Nick really helped her out.
Yeah, Nick was like, I'm not about to have you stealing my identity to get information on, you know, you thinking I'm cheating. So she obviously has a lot of therapy to do and some issues to fix, and she needs a lot of healing
Yes,
before she really thinks about getting into her next relationship. So
as they all do. Speaking of needing therapy, let's go into Joe and Madison because I don't know. I know people have their different feelings about Joe. I really like Joe. I think he'd be like such a cool friend to hang out with. I really like Joe. The episodes start out, I believe, with Joe meeting Madison's family, right? It was Joe met, and the second Joe met Madison's family and met her sister, I said, "Oh, I don't see how this is going to work out because Madison's sister was something else."
something else. I was like, who invited her?
Yeah,
Because you're too much.
way too much.
Yeah.
Madison's sister should have stayed home, and Madison knew better. That's why we did not meet these people until 5 days before a wedding
Yeah.
because Madison's sister was way too much at the dinner. Joe looks so, we thought Joe looked bad when Madison met his family, but he looked 10 times worse when he met Madison's family. He looked like, how do I get out of here? What am I going to do?
He looked so awkward, so uncomfortable. It was like, how am I going to deal with this family?
Yeah.
Like, I don't fit in. The sister, like, and I don't know if she was doing it for the cameras. I don't know if that's really her personality. I don't know if that she really just, they're really trying to get this girl married.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just sat there and you could tell the wheels were spinning, like,
How do I get out of here?
and I thought the biggest takeaway from that dinner for me was when Madison's mom, when they were asking him about his previous engagement, how it ended,
Yep.
you know, it was some good insight into like his past, um, especially being engaged and having gone through this. And when he, basically told us I couldn't even put the invitations in the mail. And Madison's mom made the comment and said, "You're not gonna last minute her."
It's like
And
it's over.
uh, uh I don't know. Like,
Listen, when I was like, if Joe got on one knee, proposed to somebody, and couldn't send out invitations, what makes you think, Madison, that he is gonna go through with marrying you?
especially in an accelerated situation.
Yeah,
Like,
no way.
things happen, and maybe if 4, 5 years had passed,
Yeah.
then maybe. But I feel like the time of his last engagement to now, and then this like hyper speed situation, he was not ready
At all.
to even do that. Yeah. I mean, as much as maybe he hoped like for a different outcome, he needed more time to heal, to get over whatever issues caused him to not be able to go through with that, because it takes a lot to one realize this is not the one, and to not go through with mailing the invitations and continuing on. Like, he definitely has a lot of
Commitment.
issues or something that he really needs to figure out and deal with. But what was I gonna say? Apparently, doesn't he have a girlfriend?
Oh my goodness. Oh, wait. Yeah, there's that too. So, but one quick second. Madison trying on, then we'll get to the tea. But Madison trying on the wedding dresses, Madison trying on the wedding dresses and then crying for KB the way Madison was crying for KB, then I started crying at home. And then I'm
You
thinking,
start
yeah, I started crying because Madison's face had me crying. And then Madison didn't even cry trying on her own dress. She was just like a little teary. I'm like, you fully broke down
no, I was
when
sobbing,
completely sobbing.
sobbing for KB. And I was like,
She just looks so beautiful. I was
like,
like,
what?
and
Yeah, I didn't
no, go
know.
ahead, sorry.
I was in shock. I
Yeah.
did not cry. I was like, girl, you got problems.
I was confused, but I was also crying. So I was a little bit of both. But the tears quickly dried away when they skip over to Joe and he's trying on suits and he can't figure out a tie, a color. He's like obviously getting more and more frustrated as time goes on and then just ends up just bucking it out of there, just blitzing it. Just he just ran out of there to his truck as fast as he could and was like, I just can't do this anymore.
No, Joe was the runaway groom.
Yeah.
He spiraled, broke down. I think it hit him in a way to where he was like, no, 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 I gotta go. Like, get me out of this country. I gotta die fast because there's no way I can go through with this. I also felt the frustration while he was trying on these tuxes. He couldn't even tell her, like, what kind of tie or what color suit. And then he was trying on these color suits that I knew by like the way he was going about what he actually allowed to be put on him. Oh, he's checked out. He's
All
so
the way.
checked emotionally and mentally, like, messed up that he's just like, I'm here out of obligation. But as soon as his turn was pretty much over, he was out. Put me in my truck. So now we get the answer of who was in the truck and when it happened
Wait
from
a
the pre.
second. Wait a second. There was somebody in the truck when Joe left?
No, so like remember in the previews, before we got to this episode, we saw someone like hiding in their truck and we were like, oh my God,
Oh,
gonna be? Well, it was Joe and it was during tux fitting.
yeah.
And yeah, I kind of felt bad for him because I just felt, oh my gosh, like for him to feel the emotions he did to make him literally run away. Like,
Soon as his friend said, do you want me to Google? Oh no, as soon as his friend said, do you want me to look on YouTube on how to tie a tie? He was like, I was like, oh, Joe's gone. He's like, do you want me to look on YouTube on how to tie a tie? I was like, your friend is BSing now, and your friend knows that
yeah,
you are ready to check out.
yeah, his friends knew, and yeah, they didn't know what else to do.
So now to get on to the tea, Joe was already in a full blown other relationship when he should have been in therapy. And before the current girl, it's rumored that Joe and Casey were low key dating,
Yep.
which I do think they would be. I feel like we even said it on our first episode that Joe and Casey would probably be a better match.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it came to no surprise
Yeah,
that
at
we're
all.
secretly talking to each other, and that's which I mean, again, we don't know the exact timing and pinpointing of everything, but um it's interesting that um right after the pods, Casey's automatically out. Joe obviously goes to Cabo, does the whole experiment. We don't know if how much access they had to their phones and if it was already um if they were already communicating in Cabo or when the communication started with them. But his current girlfriend went on a podcast and was basically telling everybody that even after, like on their first date, it was their first date, and Casey happens to be at the same restaurant or bar, and he makes the comment of like, oh, um, someone's here that I had a few dates with, and she's like, okay, and then Casey pops up and she's like, oh,
Like, oh, okay, Casey.
yeah, hi Casey. And apparently Casey just did not stop. She did not care that he was speaking to someone else. She kept trying to, see how far she could get. And I guess um, when Joe put the blockers up and said, no, like this is who I'm gonna pursue, um, he then I guess that's when she stopped. But I thought that was really interesting.
Really looking forward to seeing what Casey has to say at the reunion, because even with her not being on the last couple of episodes and being gone after the pods, she is still like topic of conversation. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because she was also on the Nick Viall files.
She was? I didn't see that.
A brief clip of our Casey, and I saw her speaking primarily about Patrick.
Okay.
She definitely is sugarcoating the entire situation because Patrick was saying, that he would, he had reached out to her. He asked for the ring back. She told him no, and basically just like stopped responding. And now Casey's saying like that's not true. Like I reached out. I told him like let's not like meet up to speak on our situation until like that Monday or Tuesday. And then apparently they had I don't know if it was at the singles event or another event where they all kind of hung out,
Oh.
where they saw each other. Patrick attempted to have a conversation and she wasn't really having it. So she ended up dipping out early. But she definitely, it looked like she was covering everything up because Nick was like, this is what they showed, and you could tell Nick and his wife were not buying. They were both sitting on that couch like,
Girl, see you at what's that other show? Match. We'll see you
perfect.
at
Yeah,
we will see you, Casey, at Perfect Match and call it a day.
okay.
Okay, next up, Allie and Anton. Is that how you say it? Yeah, Anton. Now, these two, the episodes start off with Allie really questioning how much drinking Anton is doing. And as the episodes progress, they meet each other's moms, and it really feels like they're starting to get a better idea of who each of them really are. My favorite part in the episode is when they're talking about the drinking, and Allie's like, "Well, you drank all the tequila, or like basically like how is all like you just bought that 12 pack and it's already gone." Is this like, part of who you are? And he was like, well, you leave everything around the house. Is that like who you are? And she was like, yeah, it is. I don't pick up after myself. And his face was so stuck. Like, like that's not going to change. Like, that's who you are. And in that moment, I felt like I could see before Anton's face of like, she's a baddie. I've never dated a baddie before, but I guess if this is what comes with dating a baddie, then it is what it is, because I don't think Anton feels like he could get anybody hotter than Allie. Like I think he feels like there's no way I could ever date anybody hotter than Allie. So let me just figure this out.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I feel like Allie is definitely the hottest person he's ever been with, um,
Ever.
ever. And
Ever.
even conversations, she is very vocal, and I mean they're playful comments, but you know deep down inside she really wants this specific lifestyle. And she's letting him know, like, look, I'm getting back in school. This is
Yep.
how I lived when I was in school and living with my parents. Like, you know, we're gonna need to either find like a housekeeper, or because she's like, my mom did all the cooking, did all the cleaning, basically like took care of me, and that's what I expect again. And you know, she's like, I still, you know, want to be able to get my Botox. And he's like, okay, yeah, we'll see if that's in the budget.
And she's like, no, that's what I'm good at. Like,
Yeah,
this is,
like that's what's happening.
yeah,
And I know, and she's also made other comments about living a certain way, or like certain things she would, you know, like to have. And he's kind of like, okay, can I afford to keep her? Basically,
right. You
am
can
I?
see it like going in his head, like, okay, 2 + 2 is 3 is 4. Can I afford her? Like, can I? Okay, and I can stop doing this. I can stop doing this so that I can be able to give her that. Like, I feel like I can see his wheels just turning. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I feel like I have seen Anton in the same outfit over and over and over. And I feel like this show is too short for me to see you in the same orange shirt twice.
Yeah, it could either be that or editing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, I hope it's editing because sir, I don't know.
But I could see that being, I could see Anton having like 5 shirts in his closet.
Yeah.
That man, unfortunately, granted the type of work he does, he's a truck, you know, driving instructor, um, and definitely doesn't have style. Like
Yeah.
Anton really doesn't have style. Like, let's just call it what that poor guy. Like, if he sticks with Annie, I'm not nah, Allie.
Yeah.
Allie's definitely gonna help him with his wardrobe, because he definitely needs help in that department, which is the least of her concerns. But the way he was dressing in the pods, I was like, okay, he's giving me skater boy vibes with the high socks, the shorts, and like this little t-shirt. And seeing him almost in like the same uniform, um, we can work on that. But
We can
I feel
we
like
can
the dream,
definitely.
he really needs to figure out if he's serious about changing that, because the way he was gaslighting her in that conversation was wild.
Wild. And the thing is, I felt like something that was consistent throughout these 2 episodes was that the couples are starting to see who they are off camera and who they are on camera. And so she's like bringing up stuff that's happening off camera, on camera. And he's like, huh? We're on camera. We don't talk about those things, which he did last week too. Remember when he was like at the singles thing and he was telling them, you know, how much are you saying? And she said, well, the truth. And he's like, baby girl, this is not where we tell the truth at. This is on TV. He's like, he's ready to go on Match too. Perfect Match.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know about that. But um I loved both their moms. Their moms were so cute. Allie
So
and Anton's moms. Yeah.
to see them being besties, even if it
Yeah.
didn't work out with the kids. But they both very old school traditional moms, you know, both from different countries. You know,
Yeah.
they almost have, the moms have so much in common.
Yeah.
Um,
For
you
sure.
know, I think in I think that's why Allie and Anton maybe got along so well, and they do have, I feel like, a lot in common in the way that they were raised, and you know, the maybe the same type of lifestyle, things of that nature. So I can see how it could work, and them blending in their families, like that match I feel would blend fairly well. Both moms just want the best for their kids, and they're waiting for those grandbabies.
And you could tell that when they kept saying that they really connected on their experiences, you could see it now. Like by meeting their moms, you could tell like, oh yeah, they really do have a similar story. And so they really do connect on that area. But connecting on who they are as individuals is like a whole other thing. They're even though they have family culture, not culture, but family experiences that are similar, their personal lifestyles seem to be completely different. Okay. Sorry about that. And Allie looked so good in her wedding dresses too.
Yeah, she
She looked
looked,
amazing.
yeah, I think out of all of them, she looked the best. I don't know why Madison should have been sobbing for her.
Okay. Next up, Edmund and KB. Oh my goodness. When they drove up, okay, first, wait, I guess, no. When they drove up in that snowmobile, right? And KB was driving the snowmobile, I thought to myself, this is not right. Something about this is already not right. Edmund is like this on the snowmobile, and KB's driving snow. I said, oh, this isn't right. And then when they got to, okay, so they were on a snowmobile. They get to the top of this cute date on top of a mountain. Probably one of the best dates that Netflix has ever done, first of all. And then there's a little cabin, and Edmund goes and sits down at the cliff of the mountain. KB goes and gets hot chocolate inside of the cabin and then brings out the hot drinks to Edmund. And I thought to myself, what? First of all, Edmund should have been driving the snowmobile. Second of all, she should have sat down and Edmund should have went and got the hot chocolate and brought it out. And then Edmund didn't even try to help her sit down,
No.
knowing they had just got into a fight before they got on the snowmobile. And I was just thinking, why haven't they given up yet?
Yeah, that date made me question their relationship because there was so much, and again, it's not that there was so much wrong with it, but it was just not what we're used to seeing, as like the roles, it almost seems, which I mean, it makes sense having gotten to know them a little bit. Like, Edmund just has a softer personality than KB. KB is definitely like alpha mentality. And she, deep down inside, she does want her man to be the provider, be the leader, like be the full on gentleman that she's been searching for. And, she gets Edmund, which Edmund does his best, but I don't think his best is good enough for KB in the long run.
Yeah.
I was reminded that he needs to heal his inner child.
Yeah.
Edmund has a lot of issues that I think he's tucked away, and in the many outbursts that he's had, the way that he communicates, um like Edmund really needs a lot of inner child work to do in order to be like a better version of himself, to be the husband that he like truly wants to be. um with the whole date, just seeing their body language, the way they were interacting, um and the way that he, I guess, like in a way, the way he took KB out of her character, like cousin and
She was like livid.
man.
I was thinking to myself, like, I was thinking, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, but then again, he didn't want to get embarrassed on the camera. Like, he didn't want to get embarrassed on the camera. She pulled a Allie and brought up something off camera, on camera. And once she did that, he was like, I am not, I am, he was refusing to really like go down that rabbit hole. He just started to gaslight her. And I think it was really like, there's a whole camera in my face, and you're telling the world right now how I just messed up, or how this fight just happened in the car or whatever, and how I was ignoring you or whatever. And to see them go from that to getting back home and him bringing in the flowers and apologizing, I just thought to myself, "Oh, we're still together?"
Yeah, we're still together for
You
one.
just called him a B on national TV. You just called. I was like, looked at my husband. I was like, "Did she just call him a B?" Like she called him every name in the book, and you're still together?
Yeah. I don't
Like,
know what they're holding on to, but that conversation that they had, she pretty much called them out for being fake for the cameras.
yeah,
And my thoughts was, I'm glad he's showing that he's trying to do the right thing, right? By bringing flowers, trying to be the one to like apologize before being asked to apologize. Because I feel she asks him to apologize all
yeah,
the time. It's never from him. And I'm thinking, why couldn't we have done this off camera?
right,
Like, brought the flowers for the cameras, but not like, you know what I mean? So to me, I'm just like, okay, so we're definitely not seeing, because then in a way it was like, why is she so angry? Every time they have these on camera fights, like she's angry, like to the point where we're like, why is she going from 0 to 100 super quick? And it makes sense because everything is boiling up before the
yep,
cameras roll. And he's trying to play like Mr. Perfect. We're good. Nothing's wrong. I, he can't, I don't think he doesn't want the world to see his flaws.
right.
And sad because it's like, well, you're supposed to show the reality of this experiment and the things that like get brought up, and the good with the bad. And he's so hyper focused on being this like smiley happy person, and it's like,
This
no,
persona,
this persona, and it's like
yeah,
being so like so hard that he's one of those people. It's like, it's like the saying, like, those that smile the biggest are
yeah,
hurting. And I'm
yeah.
like, he has so much work to do that we got to figure that out before maybe like taking the plunge.
And when I was watching it, I kept telling my husband, no, like when somebody fights like that or like gets mad or angry like that, they're trying to push you to the brink so that you say, you know what, let's end this. Like if somebody calls you out of your name like that and is calling you every name in the book and saying you're this and that, and they're that upset, they're trying to get you to break up so that they don't have to do it. I just feel like KB is ready to call it quits, but she doesn't want to be the one to do it. She doesn't want to look like that bad guy on TV. So she's like trying to push him to the point where he's like, you know what? Let's call it quits. And she keeps talking to Edmund like he's a client. I'm like, he's not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be your patient. He's not supposed to be your client. He's supposed to be your husband, your man. Yeah. But yet you treat him like a client. So I just wish they could have just like ended it and called it a day, but they are just so. And then you know what? A little random thought. At the same time, a part of me is like, Edmund is the marketing social media person for his retail, for his realtor place or whatever, right? And he's probably thinking to himself, I need to get to the end because this is my own marketing strategy too. Like I know he wants to be this nice guy on camera. He wants to sell more homes. He's the marketing social media person for his company.
Yes.
And he's just trying to get to the altar for I also feel like for his own personal whatever. Like
His own
I
personal game.
Yeah, I feel like there's a piece of it that it's his own personal gain as well. And
Yeah.
KB is like getting embarrassed on national TV.
Yeah, because she's like, this is not a joke. I'm trying to get wifed up. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. And he's over here just breezing through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in
It's
love.
all fun. He's here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. And I wish he would have realized that, because I feel like if KB could have realized, like, oh, we're just in this for the game of it all, this would be such an easier thing, like when you're off camera, plan your fights, plan your arguments, what you're going to do on camera, and call it a day and stop wasting our time and don't cuss this man out. Like, all right. Okay. Last but not least, Sparkle, Megan, and Jordan. Uh, these episodes start off with Sparkle Megan finally meeting Luca. Lord, Luca. She finally got to hang out with Luca. Thank goodness she finally got to meet with Luca. What else happened?
So with Megan and Jordan, after she got to meet Luca, she obviously had already met, the mom.
Yeah,
Um, they got to meet his parents.
oh, yeah, you're right. She did meet.
Finally met his parents, and that meeting, I feel like it went okay. I think everyone was just being polite.
Mm-hmm.
I could just, the dad was kind of like,
When Sparkle Megan asked, she's like, I know it's traditional for the man to ask the family, but when she asked his parents if she can marry him, I was like, Sparkle Megan, we know you make 800,000 a year. We've seen
okay.
all, but girl, do not ask this man's family for his hand in marriage.
He was like,
Really?
yeah. And I thought, is she being for real, or is this for the cameras? Like, I don't know. Like, why is she trying so hard? Baby
So
girl, like,
hard.
you are like the perfect person that they would want for their son. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like the parents were definitely just plain polite.
Yeah.
I think um again, harped on Luca, harped on the connection with her dad, like just really playing on those specific like strings per se. I didn't get too much um I didn't feel like the conversation was that in depth, or they, connected too much. It just felt very surface level for me. Um, and then when they were talking about, um, I don't know if anything happened before, but when they cut into like them having um, a pretty serious conversation, and their vibes were just like off.
Completely. So off. Are you talking
I
about when they're having that conversation in the closet? I felt so bad for Jordan because he was trying to basically say, like, I know you make more money than me, but it doesn't mean that like you work hard and I work hard too. And just because you make more money doesn't mean that you working hard is more than me working hard. That we're both working hard and we're both tired. And I couldn't understand why she wasn't understanding that if he talks for 10 hours, that how he wouldn't want to talk when he got home. Like, I
Yeah,
didn't,
because it could just be his personality too, Like
yeah,
I have a coworker, like she has 5 kids, okay?
yeah,
And we work in retail, and so we're constantly like talking to clients all 8 hours of the day, also talking amongst ourselves. And she tells me sometimes like, sometimes I get home and I tell my husband like, I don't have my social battery is empty. I'm gonna go and take this bath for an hour. Like, leave me alone. And sometimes people get like that, especially again, we don't know too much about what he actually does for work, you know? It doesn't seem like she either fully understands what he does, but to have to remind her, like, I'm talking to clients for 10, 12 hours a day. He's also co-parenting.
Yeah.
And
And
like,
then baby Luca's, when she even said, like, baby Luca will sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, his blood sugar has dropped, and they have to take care of him. So sometimes he's tired, he's not sleeping, he's co-parenting, and she's like, let's go to Lake Como.
where are we flying to? You know, it's like Vegas, club, another club.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, rest on Monday. Girl, Monday people gotta.
Like, yeah, her lifestyle is still very different than his, and he's, I think, you know, again, this is new to her. She's never done this before. She's never dated a single parent before, and I think the honeymoon phase is definitely over between them. And I think it's that conversation is the beginning of her realizing, oh, so you mean we can't just up and go, like, and then and then when he brought up, which, I mean, granted, I think with the right person,
Mm-hmm.
she would be able to do what she wants the way she wants to, right? And granted, just because you have kids doesn't mean that your life's over and you can't take these vacations or travel and do all that stuff. But like, um, she wants to have a whole nanny, and he's like, no,
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 I'm raising my
I
own
want to raise
child.
my child.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the lifestyle I want to live. And then again, I think it's coming out of her pocket. He,
Yeah.
granted, he makes enough to sustain a comfortable lifestyle, and he lives very modestly, and she's just like up here, and it's unfortunate because she shouldn't have to, like, change her lifestyle and like dim it down to his level. But again, that's something that she has to truly like think and pray about, because your maybe soon to be husband might and we can already tell he's not open to a lot of these amenities that she would be able to provide, right?
Yeah, I think he's kind of like he doesn't he like he's I think he said once like I don't want to be like feeling like I'm not using her. I forgot the word. Yeah, he doesn't want to feel that way. And I loved that Jordan reminded her why she picked him and was saying, that's part of the reason why you picked me because even though you got all those gifts from all those guys, it did not make your relationship strong.
Like,
And here I
work.
am, somebody providing you love and not just gifts and vacations and toys. Like, I'm actually loving you, and I just need you to be a little bit more understanding. And I think she was like, towards the end of that conversation, she definitely was like, wait a minute. And
Reality.
yeah, because I do think that she has created a story in her own head of who she is and what type of woman she is. And I feel like he makes it come to the light that she's a lot more what she doesn't think she is than she realizes.
Yeah, like he's like, you provide more than just money, you know. He reminded her also that she said in the pods, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about, you know,
Yeah.
all this extra stuff. And yeah, you could tell in her face, like, she's kind of like, oh
Oh,
man, like,
shoot.
yeah,
Like, oh, this is getting real. Like, this is getting real. And she need to just pay all that man's debt off and allow him to be have no stress, and he needs to take that money and pay off those credit cards and the debt and create a savings for Luca and just put Luca's future first and call it a day and live your happy rich life.
Okay.
He needs to find the strength to live his happy rich life.
Okay.
Okay?
Sign up for the stay-at-home dad role. Okay.
ASAP. ASAP.
Because she's willing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you help Luca full time? 6'7". 6'7". All right. Well, I think that's all I got here on my notes. Uh you're watching this today. Well, this episode drops today, Tuesday, October 21st. We are recording the weddings episode tomorrow, October 22nd. So feel free to come back and see us tomorrow where we will discuss who says yes at the altar and who says no. And then after that, we have the reunion. And if you made it this far, then we're going to go ahead and tell you we will also be covering Selling Sunset. We are recapping Selling Sunset, which is one of my favorite shows. I don't know about you, Danielle. I know, yeah, girl,
You
every
know,
season.
my rich realtor ladies, okay?
Yes, we need to know what is going on with Chriselle. We need to know what's going on with wait, what's her name's baby daddy? Nick Cannon's baby mama?
Bree.
Brie, also known as Brie.
That's
And
almost girl's name.
yes, I can't wait to see because they're always up to something crazy.
Yeah, and the previews, let me tell you, they look good.
Yes, and we can't wait to see who the twins are dating now. Every season, it's a new model girlfriend, so I can't wait to
Girl,
see
yeah.
that. It's gonna be so good. So we're gonna keep this thing rolling. So thank you so much for tuning in. As always, thank you. Love you guys and see you next time.
Hey.